All right, day 5. So it's Friday. This is the last one for the week. We'll take the weekend off and then we'll pick it up again on Monday. So today we're just going to talk about some clothing and some gear. Um, and I'm going to be straight up with you right from the start because this is one a little more nuanced, I guess, than some of the other things we're going to talk about this week. But I personally spend money on good gear. My comfort level in the field is more important to me than a price tag, to be honest. And that's just me. Have I killed lots of animals wearing Wranglers and a t-shirt? Yes. But I wear First Light and Sitka mostly, and I do not apologize for that because those companies make products that are genuinely designed around how hunters actually move in the field and hunt in the field. They make good base lasers, good insulation systems. I like the patterns they have and the colors. I think they match a lot of the places I hunt very well because they're built around specific environments and specific seasons. Um, that is real and it matters, and I'm not going to pretend otherwise. But here's the distinction I want you to understand. The reason good camo works is because it matches your environment. That's it. That's the whole principle. When you are in early season timber, you want something that matches early season timber. When you are hunting open country, you want something that breaks up your outline against open country. When the leaves come in and the foliage starts, getting green or anything, you want something that matches that. So adjust accordingly. The companies that do this well, and again, I'm a First Light Sitka guy, are among them. Understand that principle and build around it. Um, the problem I have is not quality gear or company names or anything like that. The problem is the way that gear gets marketed to you and the decision hunters make based on that marketing. When somebody online in a post tells you that a specific pattern is the reason they killed a bird, it's not totally honest in my opinion. When a new camo technology gets launched each season with claims it's going to make you more invisible than anything that came before it, that's the industry finding new ways to get into your wallet. The guy in last season's pattern who matched the environment and stayed still killed just as many birds as the guy in the newest release. Turkeys key on movement, coloring, their environment, what they've seen in their habitat, what looks odd in their habitat, not so much the new pattern. Your discipline and your stillness when a bird is in range matters far more than what is printed on the jacket as far as name or new pattern. So buy quality gear that's built for the conditions you're hunting in. Invest in good boots. Keep your feet dry because you're going to be on your feet. Get a good base layer system that keeps you comfortable across a range of temperatures. Because where you're hunting, I know like out here in Colorado, early season mornings are freezing, and then midday it warms up pretty fast, and then sun goes down and starts dropping again. So those investments pay off in real ways because they keep you comfortable in the field longer. Some of the gear that gets a lot of hype, right, is like turkey vests. All right, the industry has convinced hunters that a turkey vest is an essential part of kit or gear that you have to have. And then every year a new turkey vest comes out. It's got 10 more pouches or this many more slings to hold this or clips to get this. I'm not a turkey vest guy, so I've always been against the industry on this. I personally find them bulky, noisy, awkward fitting in a way that causes me more problems that I can solve. Growing up in the military, we ran battle belts and chest harnesses with pouches and gear attached. I learned that the more pouches and pockets I had, the more stuff I wanted to put in them. All right. And what that did is that reduced my mobility, which in turn reduced my lethality. And that is exactly how I approach turkey hunting. So when turkey belt started coming out, I latched on to FHF Gear's Apex belt because that kind of matched the battle belts that we kind of used in the military. Attached a few pouches to it, and it worked great. And it was the perfect amount that I needed. I'm a minimalistic hunter in the field, and so that setup was comfortable and functional for me. I'm not telling you to run what I run. I'm telling you to use what is comfortable and functional for you, not what someone told you would kill birds. Because your comfort and your mobility in the field matter, which leads to your lethality for that bird. So, um, next thing I want to talk about, and this is just it's been like hammering in my feeds and stuff, and I've never really paid attention to it till this year, and it's gotten out of control. And some of you probably know it was out there, but there's a company out there that claims that they make a suit that blocks the electromagnetic field your body naturally produces, with the idea that the animal that you're hunting can detect this field and alerts off your presence, and this will block that and you become essentially invisible to all senses. Let me preference with I don't have a doctorate in anything. I do have a degree in biology and fish and wildlife management. So I did some research, and I'm not just talking out my ass here. This is just the stuff I found and the research I did on this. This company is correct. Their birds do have a protein, what they call cryptochrome or cry4, but the main job of that protein is to detect the Earth's geomagnetic field for navigation. We've known this for a long time. It's why homing pigeons and carrier pigeons could deliver messages across hundreds of miles of unfamiliar territory in World War I, World War II. It's why Arctic terns can migrate from pole to pole every year. Romans used pigeons as a communication system. Militaries used it. That magnetic navigation system is real, documented, remarkable. We've known it. Here's the critical part that these companies that are claiming this leave out. That research is strictly about birds orientating to the Earth's static magnetic field over a long distance. There is zero peer-reviewed evidence that I could find that cryptochromes allow birds to detect bioelectric emissions of a nearby animal. Those are two completely different phenomena operating at completely different scales. And using that to sell a suit that's not science, that's marketing dressed up as science. The bioelectric magnetic or whatever field your body produces from your heartbeat, from your muscle contractions, that's all real. We understand that. But they are measured at, I think I found like millivolts per meter at the skin surface and drop off exponentially with distance. So by the time that you're propped up against a tree or in a blind, calling a turkey or sitting there, those emissions are essentially undetectable without scientific laboratory equipment. No published study that I could find again has demonstrated that any bird species can detect human bioelectric fields at hunting distances. And if they could, think about it this way. If a turkey could actually sense your electromagnetic field of every living thing around them, they would be the most predator-proof animal on the planet. Every coyote, every hawk, every fox would light up like a beacon before it could get within 100 yards of that turkey. Turkey populations would then be virtually unchecked. We'd have billions of them. We'd be drowning in them. Instead, we have a species that gets eaten constantly, and we have a lot of turkey populations dropping because of predators and habitat and everything else. So that argument of electromagnetic detection collapses under its own logic, to be honest with you. And the claim that non-living objects like trees and branches have no field, bioelectric, electric, whatever, is also false. Plant electrosignaling is well documented science going back to the early 1800s. Plants produce measurable action potentials in response to touch, wounding, environmental stimuli. So a branch moving in the wind involves living tissue with real electrical activity, and so that branch, and you are not as different as what this company wants you to believe. So the question is, well, then why do turkeys, possibly see you and then they take off running? Well, it's because they're seeing something move or something that's not natural in their environment that, has been there. It would be just like you walking through your own house where you know everything is at, and then all of a sudden something new is there and in place that doesn't quite match. That's how a turkey sees their habitat. They're in it all the day, every day, for their entire life. And turkeys have, some of the greatest vision of any animal. They have monocular vision covering 270 degrees, and their system is highly tuned to detect motion and contrast changes on the UV spectrum. That is predator avoidance instinct. It is behavioral ecology, not electromagnetic biology. When a bird blows you out, it is because you moved or your outline did not match the environment or you just weren't fitting in. So it's not because your body's electrical field gave you away. Again, I could not find outside, these companies' own websites and their own researchers any credible scientific evidence that turkeys or any other game animal are detecting and responding to the human electromagnetic field in a way that meaningfully affects hunting outcomes. None. What I have seen are sponsored hunters killing birds and crediting a suit, but I'm not seeing it anywhere else. There's a difference between gear that is engineered around real principles and gear that is engineered around a marketing concept. Learn to tell the difference, spend your money accordingly, just be aware of what's out there. Match your environment, stay still, invest in quality where it actually counts, and do not let anyone convince you that there is a suit blocking your electromagnetic field and that's the reason why you're not or are killing birds. Thanks, and we'll see you Monday.